Now, tonight, why are families in crisis? That's our topic for tonight. Family in crisis. Now, if you read in the book of Genesis, it was a 6th day. After God has created heaven and earth, and because we serve an unselfish God, God wanted to share his creation. And therefore, on the 6th day, God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth. And therefore, in verse 31, God said, it was very good. So God placed Adam there in the Garden of Eden, paradise that God has prepared for them. And Adam had the privilege to name each animal. So the animal passed before Adam, male and female, and he named them. What should I name that one? Horse, that one donkey, the one with the long neck, giraffe, the one with the long nose, elephant. And so all the animals passed before Adam till Adam alone was left. And wistfully Adam wondered, is there then no companion for me? Just think for yourself. All the animals just passed before him. And look, there's nobody like me. Is there then no companion for me with whom I can communicate? Nobody with whom I can share the blessings of God? And you know, we serve a wonderful God. God can read our thoughts. That's why God says, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet comparable unto him. And we know the rest of the story. And God brought a deep sleep over Adam. And then in the Garden of Eden, God performed the first operation. You know, with this wonderful God that we serve, I think God just took his finger and like a laser beam, he cut open the side of Adam. And the Bible says he removed one of the ribs and he covered it with flesh. And then God presented Eve to Adam. Adam was still lying there. And God brought Eve, and God said, Adam, Adam, wake up. And you know, Adam opened his eyes. Now think for yourself, the last time it was animals that passed him, and now he opened his eyes and he could not believe his eyes. And Adam smiled from ear to ear because this beautiful creature. And Adam jumped up and he said, this is now bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Now, do you remember that day when you sat right in front of the church? All nervous. When is she going to come? You know, brides, they're always late. I've never met one that's on time. Now, that was 29 years ago there in Riverside Church in Cape Town. I was just waiting for the music to start to play. And then the music started to play, and I got up. And when I turned around, I did not look at the audience, the people in the pews. I just looked at this beautiful, my wife-to-be, and I could not believe my eyes. I said, wow, and I just wanted to run and embrace her. Oh, how wonderful. You know, I must tell you some stories, how I had to travel to Cape Town, but I'll tell you a little bit later. So God brought us together, and there was Adam and Eve. There in the Garden of Eden, God performed the first wedding ceremony. That's why one thing that we need to keep in mind and realize is that marriage is honorable. Marriage is sacred. But we can agree today that marriage has lost its sacredness. Because people get married today and after 6 months they divorce again. Some say, I thought I got a good deal, but I got a bad deal, and now I want a new deal. Marriage is serious business. And therefore, we must keep it sacred. When we walk through our neighborhood or in our neighborhood, and when we enter homes, then we will find out there are many broken homes. The children walk in the streets begging for bread, while the parents have given themselves over to liquor. There are very few happy and successful marriages today. And that's why I believe it's time that we need to do something. You know, sometimes we can spend millions on rands on environmental projects, but it's time that we invest in our families, because that's the most important asset. So as I've said, as we go around in our communities, there are many broken homes. In some of the homes, husband and wife are just living together under the same roof for the sake of the children. But there's no happiness, no peace in that home. Broken homes, why? 1 out of every 2 marriages breaks up. It doesn't have to be that way. And we ask ourselves, why? Why so few successful, happy marriages today? What went wrong with today's family life? How can I prevent it from happening in my family? Now, tonight I want to say to you, I can only give you a recipe. I can't make your marriage work. You must work on your marriage. I can give advice and guidance, and you can decide if you're going to accept it or reject it. And I want to tell you, it's so difficult if only one of the partners wants to work on the marriage. It costs 2 people to make a marriage a success. And what we must also keep in mind, a successful marriage is not a gift, it is an achievement. It doesn't come by chance. It's a lifelong work to have a successful marriage. And it's hard work as well. And sometimes we invest so little in our marriages. But I want to encourage each one. The more you invest in your marriage, the more you will get out. A good marriage takes a lot of hard work and commitment. Now, why do so many marriages fail today? There are a number of reasons. But one of the reasons maybe is the lack of commitment. But the reason that I want to touch on tonight is the lack of preparation. Many of our young people, they just rush into marriage without doing the necessary preparation. And that's why tonight I'm going to start with our young people. Those that contemplate to get married still in the future. What I want to tell to our young people, keep this in mind. You get only one chance to choose. There's no second chance. And if you choose wrong, you can jeopardize your whole life. Marriage is not something to play with. Marriage is serious business. So when you choose a life partner, don't think with your heart, think with your brains. Because if you choose wrong, you can spoil your whole life. If you have always been faithful in attending church, an unsuccessful marriage, an unhappy marriage can drive you out of church. If you have never drank or smoked before, an unhappy marriage can drive you to tobacco and alcohol. If you've always been a gentleman, an unhappy marriage can change you and you can become the most cruel person. Marriage is serious business. But marriage is also wonderful. I never want to be single again. Hey, Liz? She's just shaking her head. Yes, yes, yes. Now, young people, when you choose a life partner, don't just rush into and grab the first one. You know, I don't know, nowadays things have changed. Now, previously in our time, we as men, we were the hunters. But nowadays, the young girls, my daughters attended an all-girls school, and then they come and share with us how the girls, there was another fight daddy about the boyfriend and how they hit each other at school. Now, a few points just to help you in choosing a life partner. You know, things that you must observe. Watch his manners, how he treats you. Young people, while you're courting, and he lift up his finger, and he press his finger against your forehead like this. When you're married, he's not only going to use the one finger, he's going to use all 5 fingers. And not only his hands, but his feet as well. So watch how he treats you, how he treats others. If you're in a company, does he behave? Is he jealous or is she jealous? How does he speak? How he treats his friends. He's going to, don't think he's going to treat your friends better. And most important, or second most important, how does he treat his parents? How does he speak to his mother? While his mother is talking to him, he just turns his back and he walks on and says, who cares? If he doesn't show respect for his own mother, don't think he will show respect for you and even your parents. And then also very important, how is his relationship with God? Very important. Because if you're not on the same spiritual level, you will face challenges in your marriage. You know, sometimes we as parents, we will talk and say, don't get married. You know, I know that family. Don't get married to that young man or that young girl. But then what will they tell you? Oh, Mom, I love him. I'm in love. You remember he came to church last week? And he promised that he will come again. You'll see, Mom, once we're married, I will change him. Forget about it. He or she will change you. You know, it's easier if you're on a higher spiritual level, like as an illustration, you stand on the table and he's on or she's at the lower spiritual level. It's easier to pull somebody down than to lift somebody up. Unequally yoked. That's why the Bible speaks about unequally yoked. An ox and a donkey. It just doesn't work out. Look there. Mother and children on their way to church, and he's on his way, encouraging your spouse to go to church. It's difficult. Let me tell you, young people, many a time you will see a wife or a husband sitting alone, and it can become very lonely. Many a time there's functions, the wife wants to attend because it's uplifting, but then the husband says, I'm not going, I'm not interested. Bad advice. He's really a pussycat, Mom, and I know I can change him after we marry. Now let me tell you, young people, if he or she doesn't change while you are courting, leave him, leave her. You will spare yourself many a heartache. I know some couples for years they've tried to change their spouse, and after 10, 15 years of failure, they're suffering of depression. And maybe after many years, he or she will eventually change. Spare yourself that heartache. You know, a young couple, they've not even been married for 12 months, find themselves in the counselor's room. You know, they had the most wonderful wedding, video recorded and everything. If you look at the rings, there's 12 diamonds in a ring. It's every young couple or young man or woman's desire to have a wedding like that. If you watch their video about the reception, here after 6 months, they find themselves in the counselor's room. The young wife, tears flowing from her eyes. I never thought that marriage is like this. Yes. Don't rush into marriage. And as I've mentioned, marriage is serious business. So young people, look carefully. You know, everything, that's why everything begins with a choice that we've made. You know, the young man calls the young girl for the date. And she's so overwhelmed. At last he asked me on the date. I've waited for this so long. And she could not wait to SMS and, is it BBM? And WhatsApp, her friends. Everybody must know, and it's in Facebook. They put everything on Facebook nowadays. There's no more secrets. It's on Facebook. We're going out. And you even see We've checked in at Spurs, 7 o'clock. And oh, she's so excited. And don't talk about this young man. He came to fetch her. How he opens the door for her, and with the flowers. And all of a sudden, the mother noticed that he gives his teeth an extra brush. He never brushes his teeth. But now all of a sudden, and he polishes his shoes. Courting is wonderful. Dating. It's exciting. Today I'm thinking back of those years when I dated Sister Liz. That's many years back. And I could not believe I was so poetic. I mean, the letters. Just look here. This is a Christmas card I bought her. I wonder if the date is in here. And I delivered this by hand because on my way to Cape Town in a Renault 4, the alternator packed up in Oudtshoorn. But I knew the road so well, and I drove right through the night with a torch just to get this delivered to her on Christmas Day. And I wrote letters for her. And here's all the letters though. Okay. The stamp on here is 5 cents and 3 cents. This was from her, and this to her, Mrs. E.R. Cummings. She was a Cummings. I had a hard time with the dad, but I persevered. Nowadays, young people, let me tell you, you send SMSs, I love you, and all the sweet words, and then tomorrow she get upset with you and she just press one button and it's all gone, deleted. Hey, but the letters. But you must see her letters that she wrote to me. Now mine was only in one color paper. But her letters, women are just wonderful. All color papers. But as I said, I was very poetic. Look at that. That's my drawing. Because the second name is Rose. Would you mind if I read this? It's in Afrikaans. Hey. Time was drawing near now for the wedding. Eendag, nie ver van nou, van die tyd gaan toch so gauw, sal ons loon ontvang, vir die tye wat ons so moes verlang. Ons sal dan vir altyd by mekaar wees, ek en jy, in liggaam en in gees. Om nooit weer geskei te word van mekaar, ja, lang afstande, nie meer daar. Ek sien uit na Desember maand en veral na daardie koel, lieflike skemeraand. Wanneer ek aan jou daardie belofte gaan maak, dat ons in Julie maand gaan haak. Wat kan ons van mekaar skei, my liefling? Kan mense nie besef dat wat God by mekaar bring, nie geskei kan word nie, maar stand hou. Kom ons bid en sal ons toekoms op Christus bou. Hou moed, my dingetjie. Alles sal regkom. Oh, wonderful. It's all here. carnations. Young people. Now, you married men, when last have you bought any flowers for your wife? Don't worry, all of us, we're guilty, me included. But women just love flowers. There's exceptions as well. Now, dating. Dating is how we go about inspecting a foundation to build a successful marriage upon. That's why we encourage young people to date. Because you can't just see a person today and tomorrow you want to get married. You need to learn to know each other and the backgrounds. So it's like laying a foundation. Now, a foundation must pass inspection before it is built upon. Now, there's a foundation. Now, successful marriages can only be built upon a strong foundation. Inspecting foundations, that is dating. Now, listen to this quote, Spencer W. Kimball. The vital decision of marriage. Marriage is perhaps the most vital of all the decisions and has the most far-reaching effects. For it has to do not only with immediate happiness, but also with eternal joys. It affects not only the two people involved, but also their families, and particularly their children, and their children's children, down through the many generations. That's why, if you choose, take your time. Don't rush into marriage. Now there are 6 stages of dating. The first one is friendship. Nothing serious, but friendship is a foundation. He'll walk on that side of the road and she'll walk on the other side of the road, and he's thinking, man, he's been eyeing this girl for some time. But one day he will pluck together enough courage to cross the road and maybe just smile and greet. You know, young people, let me give you some tips. When you make contact the first time, don't ask what's your cell number, are you the eldest or the youngest, and all. Don't ask too many questions. Because friendship, you build friendship over time. It takes time to build a friendship. But friendship is important. Then the second stage of dating is casual dating. Now, when there's a function and you don't want to go alone, then you will ask her to accompany you. Still nothing serious, no promises. It's just to have somebody with you, a companion with you. No promises. And then the third stage, special dating. Now things are getting a bit more serious now. Because each time when you see this guy at the function, then you look around, oh, she's also there. So now each time you will ask this particular person to accompany him. And then going steady. Now it's during this time that they will tell you, we're in love. And you can see it in their eyes. I can remember when I think back there on Devil's Peak, when we got engaged. Know where's Devil's Peak in Cape Town? I had a bottle of Monies in the car, and we got engaged there, and then we went home, and we shared another bottle of Monies with the parents. And you know, under the stars, I could just see also the stars in the eyes of Liz. And we in love. Going steady, in love, and then engaged to be engaged. Just before the formal engagement. Now things are really serious, and your engagement, the family know when you will get married, and you're making plans, and the families or the parents of the two parties came together, and there's discussions and lobola and all of these things. And then the marriage. But what I want to say to you, friendship is the key for successful marriage. And it's a foundation. And if the foundation is not solid, if there's not a solid friendship, then your house will be full of cracks. Your marriage will be full of cracks, and it will become very windy and stormy sometimes. Therefore, when we marry our best friend. And nothing can separate us. Now, courting should help your personality to develop. Secondly, help individuals to understand the opposite sex. You know, I've heard some young people, in some other cultures, they will come and tell me, Pastor, you know, my parents doesn't even want to allow me, the two of us, to sit next to each other in church. And I ask, how old are you? I'm 26 years old. What's wrong with your parents? Will they feel more happy when you go out there and get somebody out there? Courting, dating, help two people to learn to understand each other better, and the different sexes, the opposite sex. Fill the need for human love. Supply opportunities for fun and recreation. But let me say to young people, with courting, you know, sometimes we plan functions, and then young people, they disappear around the corners. No. And many of our young people, they're not emotionally ready for steady relationships. When you're 12 or 13, you're not ready for steady relationships emotionally. So it's good to go out in groups. And then you look from a distance, you observe. And then after a few functions, and say, you know, I like how that young man behaved. And then you start to pray. Pray to God that He will make a move. But observe. Don't just go into and you know, sometimes young people, they meet each other at the camp meeting or the matric farewell, and then 2 weeks after that or 3 months after that, they're going steady, and 6 months after that, they get married. And sometimes they want to tell you, but doesn't it help both of us, we Christians? You know, you can be the most wonderful Christian. That doesn't guarantee a successful marriage. You know, 2 people got married after 6 months, and after another 2 months, they called the pastor in because their marriage was a disaster. And the young man said, I thought that because both of us are Christians and even in the same church will guarantee a successful marriage. But being Christians have just prevented us from killing each other. It doesn't guarantee a successful marriage. Yeah. So I want to encourage our young people, take time. Opportunities for fun and recreation. Assist in selection of a marriage partner. Now, Nancy van Pelt says the following: the dating years are precious years and should be used to full advantage. They provide time for developing honorable values, worthwhile goals, and excellent standards of behavior. Young people should get involved, meet new people, and date a lot. But let me tell our young men, don't play with the feelings of the young girls. What she is saying, get involved so that you can learn a number of young people, and then you select, then you make your choice. Don't just go for the first one, especially ladies. Say, oh, I'm 26, oh, next year 27, oh, I'm going to the shelf. And the first one that comes your way, you jump. No. Pray and be patient. Don't get impatient. She says they shortchange themselves when they limit their opportunities to one person during the early years. Everyone who comes in contact with your life will leave a part of himself or herself with you. You can learn lessons even from a complete bore, braggart, or gossip, lessons like tolerance. So give yourself a real basis for comparison. Don't be like a fly in the bottle of vinegar who thinks that it is the sweetest place in this world because it is the only place he has ever been. Now, how do I know if his or her love is really genuine? Now, there are differences between love and infatuation. Love develops slowly, infatuation rapidly. You will hear them, especially young men, you know, they just see the figure and the long hair and so on, and then they say, I'm in love, I've fallen in love, it was love at first sight. No, that's not love, that's infatuation. Love ends slowly, infatuation ends rapidly. Out of sight, out of mind. You just go for a week to Durban, and there you get involved with another young girl. Love centers on one person, infatuation involves several. Love motivates positive behavior, infatuation, destructive behavior. Love sees the importance of compatibility, infatuation disregards it. Love recognizes fault, infatuation ignores them. You know, sometimes parents will speak to their children. The children will just say, no, mommy, no, daddy, it's only you. He's fine, she's fine. They're blind, they don't see. Love survives separation, infatuation cannot. Love controls physical contact, infatuation exploits it. If you just see he's too touchy and he can't keep his hands for a moment off you, then there's something wrong. Infatuation. Love is selfless, infatuation is selfish. Love brings approval of family, infatuation brings disapproval. So young people, when your parents warn you, listen. And especially when your friends warns you as well, then you must investigate. There must be something. And take note. Love produces security, infatuation, insecurity. The last one. Love recognizes reality, infatuation ignores them. Now everything will just work out fine. We in love, and that's what counts. But we will share with you, like tomorrow evening we will share 3 ingredients for a successful marriage. Don't miss it. 3 essential things for a successful marriage. And then Monday evening, 6 things that we forget that can even make good marriages go bad. So don't take your marriage for granted. I've got you now, you're mine forever. It doesn't work like that. Now, for a moment, for us who are married, let's just share a few words. When you look at your wedding album, do you still have your wedding albums? When you open that wedding album, then you see there's 2 radiant people. I've never seen any unhappy marriage ceremony. Look at that one. They're in the gardens. Now, why is some of our marriages, if you look at our marriages, and sometimes our faces, it's gone sour after 5, 10, 15 years. While on the other hand, while some couples are still happy, like as if they got married yesterday. Why? Why are so many marriages ends in divorce? They start in the church and they end in the court. Now I can give you one reason. Many couples have stopped the dating game. The day they received that certificate, said, now I've got the license. And they've stopped the dating. You know, previously, Brother Albany, that first month, you would walk down the street, oh, you're in love, hand in hand. Sweetheart, mind the stone. It's not even a big stone. Be careful. And then after 5, 10 years, are you blind? Can't you see where you're walking? Michelle, that first month after honeymoon, just a slight cough. Should I get something from the chemist for you? I just want to run, get something. After 3, 5 years, that cough again. Keep your germs to yourself. Turn that way. I don't want your germs. Previously, it was my darling, my angel, my sweetheart, my lovey duck. What do you call me? Hey? Lovey, Leslie. And then after 10, 15 years, the devil, the thing. I can't stand him. I want to encourage you. Keep on with my darling, my sweetheart. Don't call each other's names. And you know, something else as well, that's a cause that so many marriages are breaking down today. We've got it in our homes, the television. Is your love life going down the tube? You know, sometimes the television is more important. I mean, the husband is at work. When he gets home, the food is not ready because it's Sevendalan, it's Isa Pingo, is it Isa Dingo or Isi Dingo. I haven't watched television for a long time. You will hear the husband tell his wife, my darling, no, I can't see to that gash on your leg because the Bold and the Beautiful, I'm watching the Bold and the Beautiful. Scandal. You know, if you want to put warmth back into your marriage, it's so easy. Just press the off button of the television. And let me tell you, you should not have a television in the kitchen, in the dining room where you eat, or in your bedroom. That can become the greatest evil. Because especially when there's a communication problem between the couple. Now, instead of discussing issues, they lay in bed and they watch television till thy kingdom come. And so things get worse and worse. Yeah? Don't let the television control you. You control the television. And you know, another thing that causes lots of damages in marriages today is the cell phone. Where's my one? The cell phone. Especially the BlackBerry. And all wives want BlackBerry. Because they're in touch. I told my wife some time back. She had the BlackBerry before me. My daughter gave me this one. I mustn't tell, I'm going to be in trouble. But sometimes they hold the BlackBerry. And I say, you no longer hold me. I'm not the last one any longer. Now it's a BlackBerry. You know, with the BlackBerry, it ping, ping. And then the red light flicks. And maybe you're busy with serious business, but now it's ping, ping, and the red light is there. Distraction. What about SMSs? Therefore, ladies, it's good to send a message, a scripture, but you don't send a message to a man, especially a married man. You know, I miss you so much in church today. I can't wait to see you again. Looking forward to next Sabbath. How the wife read that message. You know, once we were driving, and then there was a message. No, I don't hide things, and my wife doesn't hide things from me. We open. We trust one another. And that's very important. Trusting one another. A message came through. And because I'm driving, she picked up the phone. Hey, and she looks at me. Something is wrong. Somebody else, and it was supposed to be for her husband, and she pressed the wrong button. Lance, and my wife looked at me. I guaranteed, I don't know who said, but we're going to check the number. But later we found out, and she explained it was for her husband. You know, husbands and messages, and I've heard this many a time. Pastor, we were sitting in the lounge, we were busy eating, and then a call came through. Now, the number reflects on the screen, and then he will get up and he will run out. There's something wrong. There's something wrong. If you cannot answer and speak openly in front of your wife, then something is going wrong. It's a business call. Yes, that's what they will say. But we married in a community of property. We one. We work together. We partners. I don't hide things from her. And she doesn't hide things from me. No secrets. One day the wife, while you're in the shower, the wife will pick up, that message will come through, and she will pick up the phone, and she will look. Wives have sent me messages and say, Pastor, this is a message that I read on his phone. He's denying it, but I know there's another woman. Cell phones can cause lots of problems in marriages. And another thing that I need to touch on, even these laptops with internet connections. I've had many a wife, and it's winter. Pastor, I'm in bed 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. He's still downstairs or in the lounge or in the study, and he only comes to bed 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. There's something wrong. Pornography. Pornography. You know, I sat with pastors on, was it Thursday? And the one pastor said, you know, one day I touched the wrong button, and here all these things just popped up. It's there. It's there. Yeah. So, ladies, especially in winters, if your husband sit in another room, he said it's business till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 evenings a week, don't just accept his explanation. Something is going on. Yeah. You must guard your marriage. Yeah. Because the devil is busy today breaking up marriages. Yeah. Husbands, this is 1 Peter 3 verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. You know, we come to church, we serve as deacons and elders and even pastors, and the members see us in church. Oh, what a wonderful husband. But at home, how do I treat my wife? How do I speak to my children? How do I address them? Yeah. The Bible says, treat your wives with respect. If you don't treat them with respect, then God will not even answer your prayers. Yeah. So dwell with them with understanding. Yeah. Now, another thing that we need to be watch as well is this tongue. You know, this tongue can be very sharp. Now, we will touch on that when we do communication and conflict management. How do we manage conflict? Now, ladies, you know, sometimes don't just get upset about everything, every little thing. Sometimes you must just say, hey, my hubby, when are you going to grow up? When are you going to learn? And also, men. You know, sometimes we just take things for granted. Our wives want to hear. We must give them that assurance. I still love you. Tell them every day, you know I still love you. When I married you, it was the most wonderful thing that happened in my life. And I still love you the same. And express appreciation. Both husband and wife. You know, sometimes ladies, and sometimes we as men, if the neighbor, the lady next door, just say, hi, just come help me quickly fix this plug. Then we jump over the wall. And your wife asked you 3 months ago to fix a plug in the kitchen. So when he does something, just rub him on the back. Say, I really appreciate you. Thank you for fixing the washing machine or something on the car. And men, you know, sometimes we just invite friends. No. If you invite friends home and your wife catered well for them, she provided a good meal for them, tell her, hey, sweetheart, you know, yesterday, that meal that you served was wonderful, man. Though you a wonderful cook, I just appreciate you. Thank you very much. So express appreciation. Now I want to close by saying this. Tonight, I want to say to you, remember, you can have a happy and successful marriage. Don't give up on your marriage. It can work.